Today we're going to do a quick video on agent mode in groundcover and some of the enhancements we've made to it lately, especially around connectors. We'll also focus on the Slack app connector. Agent mode continues to be a really powerful center of gravity for groundcover. It allows you to add observability context from different signals to your agent to understand what's going on and perform root cause analysis. One thing that has been introduced recently that we can actually spin up multiple agents simultaneously. So you can have an agent that's doing a triage. You could also have an agent that's building a dashboard simultaneously. Being able to multitask with agents like this helps you work more efficiently. We've also extended connectors for AI. Obviously, we already had Cursor Cloud Agent, and you can see that that's still there, but now we've also added a Remote MCP Server, and you have the ability to add additional MCP servers at the admin level and make these available. So for example, you can see I have Linear, GitHub, and Figma connected via MCP. You could always wire groundcover up through Remote MCP. However, first-class connectors just remove the busy work. Instead of chasing down API access through an admin, you connect org-wide with OAuth in a single click, and the connector is available across your platform. First-class connectors now include Linear, Notion, Pylon, Rootly, PagerDuty, Claude Managed Agents, and many more. All the connectors follow the scope of the user inside of groundcover, so it is that user's API token. This is not scoped universally. Now focus on how all of these connectors look inside of the agent. Linear is used by development teams to help with prioritization and tracking, issues, user stories, feature development, etc. Linear has its own agentic capabilities too. In this case, we asked the groundcover agent to look at the Linear MCP and summarize the last 5 tickets. This proves the MCP connection is working. It's able to read from the MCP server and bring that back. However, this remote connection or the first-class groundcover linear connector is very useful when you have an issue in a monitor firing and you ask the agent to go interact with Linear to get the additional context it needs to investigate. For example, you can easily see that a high latency spike is happening because a dev recently worked on and merged a feature, and we see that reflected in Linear with all the organizational context around it. We may also be able to go see a correlated checksum or commit hash inside of groundcover. Putting all these pieces together help you corroborate with the agent. Now let's take a look at the Cursor and GitHub connections as well. Here we have an application called Books API. Books API is just a simple application that's interacting with an LLM on the back end, and it maintains a database for summaries of books. I've noticed periodically that there are these live issues of a P95 latency that's going on, so we can quickly add that to the agent's context and have it investigate what the cause of that latency was. Now I used the GitHub MCP as well as Cursor, and it was able to pull down the code. The agent gave me a root cause analysis that I thought was really apropos, and most notably, it was saying, hey, there's actually not a database problem. The problem is because of Bedrock. The latency is spiking because of periodic LLM calls. These calls are incurring the latency issue. Now let's switch to the Slack app. The Slack app can also be used inside of this groundcover agent to get additional context. There's a lot of tribal knowledge between what's happened in Linear, what's happened in GitHub, as well as what's happened in Slack. So being able to have the agent go run over different threads and channels that it has access to is extremely useful for providing the groundcover agent with the context it needs. This context also helps groundcover users to build skills. Skills are reusable instructions you write once and the agent follows whenever they apply. Use them to encode personal preferences, team runbooks, naming conventions, investigation playbooks, or any context you'd otherwise repeat in every prompt. Having all this additional organizational knowledge through connectors is what enables users to build valuable SRE skills or agentic troubleshooting skills. The skills are just markdown files, but they can be applied to a specific use case which keys the agent, include a description, and then of course the instructions. We've talked about how the Slack connector can be used to add additional context to the groundcover agent. Now let's talk about how we can use the Slack connection with monitors. Setting up the Slack app connection is an admin-gated area. You can see it's connected here already, but you can simply follow the instructions when setting up a new connection. You just have to provide some credentials, including a client, ID, secret, and app level token. Now let's go back to monitors to see how we can utilize this connection to build notification routes. You used to have to set up an integration per channel if you wanted to route notifications to Slack. Now we can easily see all of the Slack channels we can send notifications to in option menu. so you can easily decide on which channel that I want to send your notification to, and you don't have to pick just one. You could pick incidents and then pick another channel. The Slack app connector is handling the abstraction, so you don't have to recreate a connection for each channel. And of course, now you can also use the Slack connector form the opposite direction and connect to the groundcover agent from Slack directly. Check out our other videos for more information on that. Thanks for watching.